Hi friends, welcome back to Joen Academy. Let's quickly look at the steps in excitation-contraction coupling. You might be wondering, what is excitation-contraction coupling? Well, excitation-contraction coupling is a physiological process that links the electrical stimulation of muscle cell, that is the excitation of a muscle cell, to bring about muscle contraction. Where this happens primarily is in the skeletal muscle cells. Let's quickly look at the various steps that are involved in this process. The first step is the action potential generation. This process starts with the generation of action potential in a motor neuron. So this is actually due to a signal that is coming from the nervous system. This impulse travels down the motor neuron towards the neuromuscular junction. The second step is neuromuscular junction transmission. In the neuromuscular junction transmission, immediately the action potential that is traveling down the motor neuron gets to the neuromuscular junction. It triggers the release of a neurotransmitter, which is acetylcholine, from the vesicles where they are stored into the synaptic cleft. Let's not forget that the neuromuscular junction is a synapse or a connection between the motor neuron and the muscle fiber. Also, synaptic cleft is actually a small space that is adjacent to the neuron, which is responsible for the receiving of neurotransmitter molecules from another neuron. The third step of excitation-contraction coupling is the neurotransmitter, which is acetylcholine, binding to the receptors. Acetylcholine binds to the receptors, which are situated on the sarcolemma at the neuromuscular junction. Don't forget that the sarcolemma is just a muscle cell membrane. This binding causes ion channels to open, thereby causing sodium ion to flow into the muscle cell. The entrance of sodium ion brings about a local depolarization, which is known as end plate potential. The fourth step of this excitation-contraction coupling is the propagation of action potential. In this stage, the local depolarization, which is known as end plate potential, spreads along the sarcolemma and enter into the muscle fiber, passing through structures that is known as transverse tubules, or you can simply call it the T-tubules in short. What these T-tubules do is that they penetrate into the muscle fiber, thereby making it possible for action potential to get into the interior of the cell. The fifth step of this excitation-contraction coupling is actually the calcium release from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is synonymous to endoplasmic reticulum. We can simply say that sarcoplasmic reticulum is the endoplasmic reticulum that is located in the muscle fiber. It is a specialized network of membranes within the muscle fiber cells. It is in close contact with the T-tubules. The depolarization of the T-tubules brings about the release of calcium ion from the sarcoplasmic reticulum into the cytoplasm. The next step is the binding of calcium to troponin. Calcium binds to the protein called troponin, which is also part of the thin filaments that are seen in the muscle fibers. This binding of calcium to troponin brings about a conformational change in the troponin, causing the binding sites of the actin filament to be exposed. The seventh step is the formation of a cross bridge. As the binding sites of the actin filament are exposed, myosin heads bind to the actin filament, which brings about the formation of cross bridges. Remember that myosin is a thick filament of the muscle fiber. It is this formation of cross bridge that is the main key to the step of initiation of contraction of muscle. And as for the eighth step, we have the power stroke and muscle contraction. In this step, the ATP, which is known as adenosine triphosphate, becomes hydrolyzed, and the hydrolysis of this ATP provides energy for the myosin head in order for it to be able to undergo a power stroke. So don't get confused when you hear power stroke. Power stroke is actually the pulling of the actin filaments towards the center of the sarcoma. The sarcoma is actually the structural and functional unit of a muscle. In simple terms, we can say that sarcoma is the repeating unit that makes up the muscle fibers. So when the myosin filament pulls the actin filament towards the center of the sarcoma, muscle contraction then occurs. The last two steps of this excitation-contraction coupling is actually what brings about the termination of muscle contraction, that is the relaxation of muscle. For the ninth step of the excitation-contraction coupling is the reuptake of calcium. In order for the contracted muscle to relax, the released calcium ion must be pumped back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So for the calcium ion to be pumped back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, ATP is needed to carry out this process. The final step, which is the 10th step, is muscle relaxation. As calcium ion is being pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, definitely it will bring about the reduction of calcium level in the muscle fiber. Once the calcium level is reduced, troponin will eventually go back to its initial conformation. This will now bring about the covering of the binding site of the actin. And when this happens, myosin head will be disconnected from the actin and immediately the muscle relaxes. So guys, all these events happens in a sequential manner to bring about the contraction and also the relaxation of muscle. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and the people around you. Please leave a comment on the comment section. See you next time. God got you.